Are you getting my voice? Okay, good. Guys, one more time I'm saying, don't write anything on the screen. Who is this fellow? See, that person who is not interested simply left the class, no problem at all. Don't disturb the remaining people. Now, when we come to this one, guys, now see, is the program visible to you? Is the program visible? Now see, this is the source program. Okay, the source program is this one. It has two hash includes, two hash defines are there. When we apply the preprocessor to this code, what will happen is, this is the original code. For this code, if you apply the preprocessor, after preprocessing, the same code will become like this. That pi will be replaced with 3.14. Wherever in the program it will search for pi, variable pi, that pi will be replaced with 3.14. Throughout the program it will scan, it will try to find the constant variable pi. Wherever in the program there is a constant variable pi, that constant variable pi will be replaced with 3.14, whose value is 3.14. So that this line will be removed. After preprocessor, that line will be removed. See, previously hash define is there, and we are using the directly the constant name pi. After the preprocessor, that constant will be removed. Now that pi is replaced with 3.14. Similarly, it will try to find wherever the name area, macro name area, wherever we try to find the variable name area, and that area will be replaced with the formula S into S. Wherever it found area, it will replace that one with S into S. Now that is also replaced, so it will remove this one also. After pre-processing, those two lines are removed, and in the program, what the change has done? Those are replaced with their values. The constants are replaced with their values. They are in. They are replacing with the values. Now still two more directives are there. What about this hash include stdio.h? Since you are using hash include stdio.h, this line will be replaced with code of stdio.h. All the code of stdio.h will be brought into this program. It will remove this line, and in this place of that line, that the code of stdio.h will be copied to this program. Similarly, it will replace this line hash include math.h, and the code corresponding to math.h will be brought into the program. So after pre-processing, the program will be like this. Now is it clear? Is it clear, guys? What will happen in the pre-processing? The preprocessor will replace the macros. Okay, will replace the preprocessor will replace the preprocessor directives present in the program source code. Whenever preprocessor directives are present in the source code, those preprocessor directives are replaced by the corresponding codes. Is it clear? What happened after the second step? Preprocessor. After the second step, preprocessor, what is happening is whatever the preprocessor directives available in the source code, that preprocessor directives are replaced by their corresponding codes. Is it clear, guys? This one. I think previously Ajay has asked this one. Ajay, is it clear now? What is happening in the preprocessor step? What is happening? ఉన్నాడా లేడండి అజయ్ ఇందాక అడిగినట్టున్నాడు. Okay, now in the source code it will contain the preprocessor directives. The preprocessor will remove that preprocessor directives with their corresponding code. Now that new code is called the preprocessed code. That new code is called as the preprocessed code. We call this new code as preprocessed code. Is it clear? This new code is called the preprocessed code. Now this preprocessed code will be given to the compiler. This preprocessed code will be given to the compiler. What is the duty of this compiler? After pre-processing, the preprocessed code will be given as an input to the next step, that is called the compiler. See, generally we say that the compiler will convert high-level language to machine code, but not directly to machine code here. What this compiler will do is, it will take that pre-processed code and it will check for errors in that code. Okay, first it will try to find out, is there any errors in the code? If there are no errors in the code, then it will translate that preprocessor code to assembly language code. Okay, not directly to machine code. The compiler will convert that high-level language preprocessed code to assembly language code. Clear? First, it will try to find out any errors are present in that code. If there is any errors, it will display the list of the errors to the programmer. These are the errors in your code. If there are no errors in the code, simply it will translate that code into assembly code. Okay, see once. First, see the source code. The source code will contain the hash include and hash define, which are called the preprocessor directives. Okay, when we come to the preprocessor, it will remove that hash include. By including the header file, it will remove the hash include, and it will remove the hash define by using the macro expansion. By using the macro expansion, that means by replacing that macros, it will remove hash define, it will remove the hash include. That is the duty of the preprocessor. Clear. Now, after this one, the compiler will be there. The duty of this compiler is, what it will do is, it will observe the code. If there is any question, it will scan the complete code. And if there are any errors in the code, it will give the list of errors to the programmer. If there are no errors in the code, simply the compiler will translate that pre-processed code to target assembly code. Clear. It will translate that one into the assembly language code. Did anyone have idea about the assembly language code? Did anyone have idea about the assembly language code? An idea undandi. When we come to this assembly language code, okay, it is an intermediate stage language between high-level language and machine-level language. Generally, we call it as the second generation languages. Okay, the first generation language is the direct machine language. Since it is not possible to write in machine language, later they implemented the assembly languages. But again, assembly language is different from machine to machine. Assembly language is different. So it is also difficult to write directly assembly language. So finally, we entered into the third generation languages, that is called the high-level languages. Clear. Here, assembly language is called as the intermediate language, which is between high-level language and machine language. I have given a sample code of assembly language for you. Generally, in a program, we write count plus plus. For the variable count, if you want to increase, we write count is equal to count plus 1 or count plus plus. Here, the instruction for that count plus plus is inc count. The instruction is here, the command is assembly command is inc is the increment command. Increment the memory variable count. Yes, exactly. The language which is after the machine language. Okay, here some examples I have given. Move total comma 48. It is equal to the programming language. Total is equal to 48. In the programming language, we write variable total is equal to 48. In the assembly language, it will be like this. Move total comma 48. We write count is equal to count plus 1 in the high level language. In the assembly language, it is inc count. Okay. Add ah comma bh. Add the values of bh register to ah. In our language, a plus b, generally we write a plus b. Here we are using the add command for that one. Clear. Like that, these are sample ones. End operation. To do the end operation, the command is end. We are using logical or logical end operations are there. For these are, we have the commands are there. Like this, an assembly language is also known as the symbolic language. Okay, an assembly language is also called as the symbolic language. Then we have codes are there for every operation. Several codes are available. For every operation, several codes are available in the assembly language. They are called the op codes or operation codes. Full form is operation codes. For every operation, some code is available. Like for increment inc, for moving mov, for adding add, for end operation and like that. For every operation, several codes are available. They are called op codes. ఈసీ వాళ్ళకి బాగా ఐడియా ఉంటుంది, ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళకి మైక్రో ప్రాసెసర్ ఉంది కాబట్టి దే హ్యావ్ లెర్న్డ్ అసెంబ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్. వాళ్ళు డైరెక్ట్ అసెంబ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్ నేర్చుకుంటారు 8085 కి 8086 కి అలా. వాళ్ళకి బాగా ఐడియా ఉంటుందండి ఈ ఆప్ కోడ్స్ అంటాం. ఓకే, దే డైరెక్ట్లీ లెర్నింగ్ ద అసెంబ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్. మన అసెంబ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్ నేర్చుకోవట్లేక వాళ్ళు డైరెక్ట్ అసెంబ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్ నేర్చుకుంటారు ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. క్లియర్. This is the sample one assembly language. So the duty of the compiler is it will compile the high level language program to assembly language program. In one line, here what we can say about the compiler is the compiler will take the pre-processed code and it will convert that code to assembly language code. Clear. If there are no errors, it will convert that pre-processed code into assembly language code. That is the duty of the compiler here. Is it clear? Guys, briefly, what is this compiler will do? Second step is the compiler. This compiler will convert that pre-processed code into assembly language code. Clear. Next, what about this assembly language? Again, this assembly language is not understandable to the machine. Machine can't understand the assembly language also. So again, some help is needed for translating assembly language to machine language. Directly, our target is machine language. But now we got only assembly language. Okay, Again, we have one more translator is there called assembler. After compiler, one more translator is there that is called the assembler. What is the duty of this assembler is? It will convert assembly language to machine language. Okay, that assembler will convert the assembly language code to machine language code. Clear? When we come to the assembler, the duty of this assembler is to convert the assembly language code to machine language code. It is the duty of the assembler. Simply, this compiler and assembler, these two are called the translators. They are called the translators. They will transform the program from one form to another form. Compiler will transform source code to assembly language. So high level language to assembly language. Assembler will transform the assembly language to machine language. Clear? These two are called the translators. Remember that one. What are these? Compiler and assembler. These two are the translators. They are called as the translators. They translate the high level language program to compile will translate high level language program to assembly language program. Assembler will translate the assembly language program to machine language program. Here if you observe that one, machine language code, there is one word before that machine code, relocatable machine code. What is this relocatable machine code? We want few lines about this relocatable machine code. The output of assembler is relocatable machine code. What is this concept of relocatable machine code? Okay, we know very well, we are happy. Assembler will convert assembly language to machine language. But here he is saying it is not normal machine language. He is saying it is a relocatable machine language code. What is this relocatable machine language code? మీకు CO కంప్లీట్ అయిందండి? I think you have covered the CO. Yeah, am I clear? Guys, are you getting my points? ఏమోనా ఎవడాడు CO అయిపోయిందంటే ఏమో అంటాడు. కాలేజీకి రారా అప్పుడప్పుడు సిద్ధుగా, తెలుసు సబ్జెక్టులు ఏమి ఉన్నాయో ఏ అయిపోయాయి అన్న. లేకపోతే నేను ఎప్పుడు లైఫ్ లో లాంబ్డా ఫంక్షన్ వినలేదు సార్ అన్నట్టే ఉంటది. ఐ డోంట్ నో అబౌట్ లాంబ్డా ఫంక్షన్ అన్నట్టే ఉంటది. ఓకే, మీ సిఓలో ఐడియా ఉంటుందండి ప్రోగ్రామ్ కౌంటర్. హ్యావ్ యూ ఐడియా అబౌట్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్ కౌంటర్, వేరియస్ రిజిస్టర్స్ అండ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కౌంటర్. ప్రోగ్రామ్ కౌంటర్ పీసీ గురించి టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ రిజిస్టర్స్ అవైలబుల్ చదువుకొని ఉంటారు కదండి. క్లియర్? See, what this assembler will do is, listen carefully. Very simple line is there. Briefly, we are discussing. While converting assembly language program into machine language code, so while converting the assembly code to machine language code, what this assembler will do is, it will place the machine code in some address register. Okay, the assembler while converting assembly code to machine code, it will assign addresses to that machine code. Okay, it will place the machine code in some address registers. Okay, it will give the decide the address registers and it will place the machine code in those address registers. The assembler will give some addresses to the machine code. First point is clear. While converting the assembly code to machine code, the assembler will assign some addresses to that machine code. Okay, it will give some addresses to that machine code, and the starting address will be handed out to the program counter. The first address will be given to the program counter PC, and remaining addresses will be arranged in some fashion. It will give some addresses to the machine code. Is it clear? The first point. While converting the assembly code to machine code, the assembler will assign some addresses to the machine code. Is it clear, guys? But the problem is, assembler will give some addresses in the program, in the main memory where this machine code has to be loaded. It will decide the addresses for that machine code. But the problem is, sometimes in the main memory, those addresses are not available. They are used by some other program. Whatever the addresses assigned by the assembler for this machine code, those addresses are busy with some other program in the main memory. Clear? The assembler, while converting assembly code to machine code, it will give the addresses. Okay, use these addresses while running. But the problem is sometimes in the main memory, those addresses are not free. They are filled with some other code. Clear. Assembler is giving some addresses. Okay, in main memory, this part of the code has to go to this address. This part of the code has to go to this address. Like that, it will decide. For example, the main machine code is four parts of machine code is there. Okay, part one has to go for the address 1010. Part two has to go for the address 1050. Part three has to go for the address 1070. Part four has to go for the address 1090. So assembler given four addresses for those four parts: 1010, 1050, 1070, 1090. At the time of converting assembly code to machine code, it has given addresses to those four parts. You should go to this address in memory. You should go to this address in memory. You should go to this address in memory. But in the real time, in the main memory, for example, 1050 slot is not empty. స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవుతుంది కదండి, షేరింగ్ గైస్, స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవ్వట్లేదా? స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవుతుంది కదండి అందరికి? ఓకే, గోవా, నువ్వు గోవాలో ఉంటే షేర్ అవ్వదు, ఆంధ్రాలోకి రా, షేర్ అయింది. Like that, it is deciding for four parts of machine code. It is given four addresses: 1010, 1050, 1070, 1090. For example, okay, it decided you have to use these addresses, but in the real time, 1050 is not available. Then what to do? Assembler given four addresses. You have to use these four addresses. It is decided, but while loading to main memory, some addresses are not available. Then what we have to do? Then what they have to do? See, for example, while you are before coming to the class, I have given you the bench number. Roll number one has to sit on the fourth bench. Roll number two has to sit on the seventh bench. Roll number three has to sit on the ninth bench. Like that, I decided the bench number. For few people, I decided the bench numbers in advance before entering into the classroom. But while roll number one is entering into the classroom, the bench is not empty. Then what the loader has to do? Then they have to adjust the change. They have to change the address. Okay, they have to change the address. As you are getting, it will move to the next available address. That's why here the even the assembler gives the addresses. If this code can be placed in other address, we can change the location of the code. That's why this code is called relocatable machine code. Even though assembler is giving some addresses, if the processor want, it can move that code to different locations. We can, if we want, we can relocate that code. That's why this code is called the relocatable machine code. Is it clear why this code is called relocatable machine code? Even though addresses are defined by the assembler, if we want for our purpose, we can change the addresses of the code. That's why this code is machine code is called the relocatable machine code. Clear? I said you go to the fourth bench. If fourth bench is not available, CR will ask him to sit on the seventh bench. He is adjusting, even though I have given the bench number. If they are not available, internally CR will change the benches of the students. That is the relocatable machine code. They can change at any moment. If you want to change the address of those machine codes, we can happily change the address of those machine codes. That's why the code is called the relocatable machine code. Clear? Is clear, guys? What is the relocatable machine code? The assembler will generate from assembly code to relocatable machine code. Next, this relocatable machine code is taken by another one called linker. This relocatable machine code is taken by another one called linker. What is the duty of this linker? What is the duty of this linker? Name lo what is its task? Linking. What it has to link? What the name itself indicating linker. What it has to link? Okay. ఎగ్జిక్యూటబుల్ ఫైల్ ఫామ్ అవుతుంది. దేని లింక్ చేస్తుంది? మై క్వశ్చన్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ లింకింగ్? After linking, it will generate the executable file. Okay. What it is linking? What it has to link? దేని లింక్ చేసుకుంటూ రావాలి? ఆన్సర్ మన దగ్గర ఉందండి. ఓకే, ఇట్ విల్ లింక్ ద module various parts of relocatable machine code. The duty of the linker is it is also known as the link editor. The linker is also known as the link editor. The duty of this linker is to link all the relocatable machine code modules. Okay, the various parts of the machine code has to be linked with one another. Clear? Already we told assembler will give different addresses for each one. Okay, it will for part one, it will divide the code into parts. It will give all those parts has to be linked with one another. They have to join with one another with the help. Who will do that work? Means linker will do that work. Clear? The linker will link all the relocatable modules of the previous one, whatever the machine code given by the assembler. In that machine code part, all the parts of that machine code will be linked with one another by using this linker. Clear? For example, the relocatable machine code of assembler has 4 parts are there: part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Okay, assembler has given 4 parts of the machine code. Okay, now it is the duty of the linker. Which part is depending on which part? For example, part 1 is depending on part 4. That means part 1 has to be linked to part 4. Part 1 is depending on part 4. So, okay, the linker has to form a link between part 1 and part 4. Part 2 is depending on part 3. So, the linker should form a link between part 2 and part 3. Like that, depending, making, okay. The linker duty is to link the various parts of the relocatable machine code with one another. It has to link. Clear? Basing on the references, we call the dependencies as the references here. Okay, who is referencing whom? Basing on the reference, it has to link with one another. Is it clear what is the duty of the linker? In one line answer, what we have to give is the duty of the linker is to link the various modules of the relocatable machine code with one another. Simply in one line answer. Clear? Basing on their dependencies, they will link with one another. These dependencies are technically called as references. Who is referencing whom? Okay, that is the thing. After the linker is linked all the relocatable machine code modules, finally executable machine code file will be formed. After the linker linking all those modules with one another, a final executable file will be formed. Okay, which is our required machine code. After linking of the all relocatable modules of the machine code, a final single executable machine code file will be formed. A single executable machine code file will be formed, which is we want. This is the actual machine code which we want. Source program, and finally we want this executable machine code. After linker only, the final executable machine code will come into work. Clear? The after linking of the all the modules, a final single executable machine code file will be formed. Now, what is the role of this loader? What it will do? Again, we have one more part is the loader is there. What is the duty of this loader? The name itself giving some clue. What is the duty of this loader? See, the name is giving clue. You are somewhat okay. Change that word slightly. Instead of storing. Yes, the duty of this loader is already we know very well. If the program has to be executed, where the program should go to whom? Program ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తే ఎక్కడ ఉంటే ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది మనకి? In the computer, whenever we want to do any work, that work must be in where? Which memory? Must be in memory. Which memory? ఏ మెమరీలో ఉంటే ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది? Yes, exactly. In the main memory. Okay. We know very well any task we want to do on the computer, whether it is playing a sound, playing a movie, running a program, everything, it must be loaded to main memory. If the program is loaded to main memory, then only the program will get executed by the CPU. Okay, the duty of the loader is to load that executable machine code file into the main memory. Okay, it will first identify whether suitable space is available for that program or not. Basing on the space available, it will load that profile into the main memory. The loader will load that executable file into the main memory basing on the availability of the memory. Clear? The duty of the loader is to load that executable machine code file, executable file. We call it as exe file. .exe file. It has to load that exe file to main memory. Is it clear, guys? Here we are getting exe file will be cleared. Here we will get exe file. That exe file will be loaded to main memory by the one system program called loader. Clear? See, the source code is the source file. Okay, this is the source file. Here we are getting relocatable machine code. The relocatable machine code is also called as the object code. It is also known as object code .obj file. It is also known as the obj file, object file or object code. Okay, after assembler we will get the .obj file. Here we will get the object file, obj file. After obj file we will get the .exe file. So total we have three files are there: source file, object file, executable file. We will get the three files. Clear? Source file and object file, and then the executable file. We will get three files. First source code. For source code we are applying preprocessor. From preprocessor we are getting preprocessor code. It is given to compiler. Compiler will verify that one for errors. If no error, it will convert then to assembly language code. And assembly language code is given to assembler. It will convert that to relocatable machine code or object file. Here relocatable machine code, or it is also known as the object file .obj file. Next, the linker will link all the object files with one another, and it will form a single executable file .exe file. A single exe file will be formed. This single exe file is loaded to main memory by the help of this loader. Is it clear, guys? What are these? What is happening in this process? Is it clear? See, when we come to these compiler, assembler, linker, loader, these four are the system programs or system software. Compiler, assembler, linker, loader, these four are called as the system softwares or system programs. So examples for system softwares are, when we come to softwares, there are two types of software components are there in the computer. When we come to our software components, two types are there: application software, system software. What is an application software? Generally, when we come to the computer software, it is categorized into two types: application software and system software. What is an application software? What is a system software? Can anyone define? What is meant by application software? What is meant by system software? Yeah, exactly. Normal apps like YouTube, WhatsApp, etc. are the application software. How can you define that one? Your examples are exactly right. YouTube, WhatsApp, etc. are the application software only. See, all softwares, whether system softwares or application software, developed using some language only. Everything is developed using some language only. Okay, when we come to the application software, sir, the softwares which are directly used by the user are called the application software. The softwares which are directly used by the user. YouTube directly used by the user only. WhatsApp directly used by the user. The softwares which are directly used by the user are known as the application software. Okay. When we come to the system software, reverse of this one, the softwares which are used by the system for internal work. The softwares used by the system for its internal work are known as the system software. For example, best example is OS. Next, compiler, assembler, linker, loader. Directly user is not dealing with compiler. Directly user is not dealing with assembler. Directly user is not dealing with linker. Directly user is not dealing with loader. Okay, these are also softwares, but not directly used by the user. Okay, for the internal purpose, system is using the compiler. For the internal work, system is using assembler, linker, loader, not directly user. These are called as the system softwares. Okay, these are all the softwares, but directly user is not directly using these. Only as a user, I am writing high-level language program. Since machine is not understanding, in the middle, the system is converting it into machine code by using these. Clear? That is the things. Software, okay, system softwares are the softwares which are used by the computer system for its internal work, whereas application softwares are softwares which are directly used by the user in our mobile applications, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, Gmail. All these are the application software. When we come to the operating system, compiler, assembler, linker, loader, sound drives, audio drives, video drives, all these are the system softwares which are directly used by the system for its internal work. Clear? That is the thing. So when we come to these four, compiler is a system software or system program. Assembler is a system software or system program. Linker is also a system software or system program. Loader is also a system software or system program only. All these four are the softwares only. Clear? They are the software programs. Clear? This is briefly the language processing system. Okay. Whenever we write a high-level language program, how it will be converted to machine code means in the middle, these persons has to do these work. Okay, then only the high-level language program will be converted to the machine language code and it will be loaded to the main memory. This is briefly the first concept, that is the language processing system. Is it clear, guys? Briefly, what is this one? Briefly, this is the first concept, that is the language processing system. Tomorrow, okay, again the session is over, only 1 more minute is there. Tomorrow we will meet with the next concept. Okay, structure of a compiler. We will go in depth with the compilers. Slowly we will go into the compilers. Clear. Tomorrow we will see the structure of a compiler. Guys, my request is all these concepts are related concepts, and if you understand, these are the very, very easy concepts. If you don't understand, these are the very tough concepts. Okay. Second unit, third unit will become very difficult if you don't have the basics. So try to not miss the classes. Clear. Tomorrow we will see the second one, that is the structure of a compiler. Okay. Okay, I will try to send this one. I will try to send